Morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well this morning. Today, well, on Thursday, we talked about ethos, right? So let's review a little bit about what ethos is. You guys tell me what ethos is. Ethos is appealing to people through persuade them using what? What do you use for ethos in order to persuade someone? What is an ethos appeal? Appealing to what? In this case, it's not emotion, but I know ethos and emotion, it's got the two E's. What we're going to talk about today is actually appealing to emotion, and that's pathos. I try to say, I mean, you can equate pathos, pity. I hate to say it that way, but pity is one of those emotions that is frequently used in writing and advertising to appeal. Ethos is the ethical appeal. What does that mean? If you are using ethics, whose ethics are you using to appeal to people? There's a couple of different options. If you're wanting to appeal to someone using someone else's ethics, how do you do that? The audiences, yeah. You are trying to show the audience that who's ethical or who knows what they're talking about. In advertising, if I wanted to use an ethos appeal, who would I have in my commercial? What kind of ads did we watch on Thursday? If you're here on Thursday. We watched the Mountain Dew ad.
Didn't we watch a car ad too?
That one was the day before when we were talking about an overview of all the appeals. Are you talking about the
It was like a Hyundai or like Toyota or something like that.
Oh yes, we did. And they had a spokesperson, right? So an ethical appeal is when you basically you it's in writing, it's your appeal and your trustworthiness as the author, right? In advertising, it tends to be you borrowing someone else's reputation, right? So we had the comedian who was talking to Mountain Dew. We have movie stars. The Lincoln Continental series uses Matthew McConaughey. So they're borrowing a celebrity status and cool factor to associate with their product. In writing and in academic papers, you're borrowing the authority and the knowledge of experts in order to support what you're saying and what your beliefs are. So if you're going to persuade us that the minimum wage should be $15 an hour, you need to borrow the credibility and the expertise of others who've studied it extensively and made logical arguments. And that's how you use their ethos, their ethics, their established reputation in order to make your argument and appeal to your audience. So you're appealing to credibility. Also, using academic style, using correct grammar, using effective and a logical tone, and that's not too over the top or too angry or doesn't call names, keeps you from putting off your audience and makes them trust you. If you sound like a reasonable person, they're more willing to listen to you. So the ethical appeal is credibility, either yours and experts or celebrities. For the purposes of ours, it's experts and organizations who know what they're talking about. You're borrowing their credibility to support what you want to say. So the other strong appeal that tends to get left out in academic papers, because academic papers are mostly based on expert opinions and logic and all of those good things, but we're still human beings, right? If you're trying to persuade us, you cannot forget that we have emotions. And there are lots of emotions to appeal to get people on your side. Sometimes it can be used in nefarious ways, so you've got to be careful about that. But we're going to look at some advertisements and how they use it. You can use it with stories. So if you're talking about a $15 minimum wage, then you can use stories of people who don't make enough money. They work a couple jobs and still can't pay their bills. Those kinds of stories make us connect with the issue because we like to read about people more than dry facts and statistics. But we still need the facts and statistics to support the overall evidence. So, feeling and emotion. So pathos, pity, emotion. If you can remember it that way. Okay. So here's the triangle that we're examining. We talked about ethos on Thursday, credibility and ethics, right? Today we're talking about pathos, emotions and feelings. We're going to see how the ads use them and then talk about how you can translate that into your paper. Okay. So ethos is an audience using reliability, honesty, credibility, respected authority, a celebrity. Okay. Pathos aims to convince viewers by using an emotional response. It can be positive or it can be negative. And unfortunately, a lot of them are negative these days, which can be, sort of wearying. It can be negative. Ouch, my back, I need pills for relief, or I have indigestion, right? And then we'll talk about logos tomorrow. So let's take a look. So please read on, it says, and it says, why should you just ask this puppy? And they have the cute puppy with the sad eyes, right? Please, I am doomed unless you read the rest of this article. Emotional appeal. Okay. So they're like, don't worry about it. Dumplings are right. But they're trying to pull at your heartstrings to get you to keep reading. Okay. So it is a persuasive technique that appeals to the audience through emotions. Advertisements tend to use sensory information, memory, nostalgia, shared experiences, watching your favorite sports team together and rooting them on, all of those things about childhood. So memories, nostalgic things. We like nostalgia, toys that we all shared if you're in a certain generation. So it's the emotional appeal. So a couple, adorable polar bears drink Coke, cuddly kittens eat at home, a little boy loses his mom to smoking. You're trying to really grab them in a really vital place if you're trying to appeal to their emotions. Now, this can be done badly, okay? There are some country songs that I think go too far, too much bad things happen to the country music singer. So it can come across as a little cheesy or sappy or manipulative. So you've got to be careful. Okay. But let's look at some effective emotional appeals. You don't have to start from scratch. You're appealing to things that people already feel. You have to evoke an emotional response that gets them interested in your topic. Okay. Maybe you've heard the word pathos in English class. You just have. Okay, so they're acknowledging that this is one of the main places that pathos is used besides advertising is in writing. Okay, it's used to evoke the idea of emotions. So if you see someone say that, you know, they evoked such humanity and pathos in someone, they mean emotion. Okay, pathos means passion, emotion, feeling, drama, connection in its rawest form. And it's a very, very powerful persuasive technique that you ignore at your peril. Okay, so let's look at some that evoke distress. So in the storyboard, we have an ad. I believe this is for Zillow. So the opening shot is a picture of a family. And then over on the left side, you see just the father and the son. So the dad suggests that they get a different home. And the boy is sad because they've lost their mom. And the boy sees a star and equates it with his mom. So basically, the father goes online, and in the commercial, he's trying to cheer his son up. So they get a new home. They move near the grandparents, but he also has a skylight in the room so that the boy can look up at the star that he equates with his mom. So it's appealing to, you know, emotions and sympathy for this little boy who's lost his mom and trying to make things better for him. Okay. So you've got all of the emotions, the father, the son, the grandparents, and that to suggest that Zillow can provide them exactly what they need through the home search. The anti-smoking commercials have been very effective at this also. Let's watch a few of them, and you can see what they're talking about trying to prevent people from smoking.
Have a cigarette? It's not enough. What's a pack of smokes cost? Your teeth. Smoking can cause serious gum disease that makes you more likely to lose them. Here again. What are cigarettes costing you?
So obviously that's painful, right? You know, nobody loses their teeth the minute they smoke a cigarette, but they're showing that the long-term effects can be in a very literal and visceral way that makes you more aware of the consequences. So that'd be appealing to, you know, negative emotions, to, you know, your fear of hurting yourself.
Tobacco company, show you images of what life would be like if you smoked.
They tell you tough, hard-working people smoke their cigarettes.
That's a little cool. Here. Hell yes. That smoking makes you independent.
And mysterious, but the reality of that you can end up looking like this.
So basically they're calling out the tobacco companies for their appeals using the ethos appeal by associating smoking with all of these, you know, I'm just a basic hardworking person, so smoking is part of, you know, my pleasure and my right, or cool celebrities smoke. Or if you're a woman, when women's rights were coming out, they turned it into sort of a statement of independence and beauty if you were a smoker. So they were basically pointing out that they sell all of this, but really, in the end, you don't end up looking cool or pretty, you know, and it can have some pretty bad effects. We'll watch one more because they're kind of grim.
Hey, buddy, let's take a little walk. Say go outside, we go outside.
When I say fork it over, you fork it over.
Hey, when I say pause the movie, we pause the movie. Come on, big boy. Pucker up.
Cigarettes are bullies. Don't let tobacco control you.
So, you know, nicotine's an addiction. So they're literally personifying addiction in the form of that evil little bully there who's following him around and making him pay money and interrupt activities that he likes, and basically dictating his life. They made you feel more viscerally again what it is to have an addiction that controls some of your behavior. So they've been pretty effective with these. All right, let's keep going. This one is I don't know. I want to see what you guys think of this one. This is a little bit harsh. Appealing to emotions can be hard.
Sister's big day, finally. Me, maid of honour, obviously. Everybody's here. Mom, Dad. It's a shame I'm going to miss it. Sorry, I ruined your big day, son.
That's pretty harsh. What do you guys think? Effective, non-effective? I'm interested to hear what you think. Does it make you think about heart disease? Do you think it's an effective emotional appeal? Like, if you don't take care of your health, what are all of the things that you might miss? Or if you collapse at your sister's wedding, So it's definitely an appeal to the emotions that makes you think. I don't know if it feels like it's likely to a lot of us. So I don't know if the scenario quite fits what most people expect. I don't know. A wake-up call is what this is defined as. If you use this in a paper, it would be similar to projecting. Remember, we talked about speculating on the future as a conclusion technique. So if you're doing something that has to do with climate change, maybe you speculate on how much of the rainforest we'll lose or what the atmospheric pollution levels will be like. There's a project in, I think it's Japan, where they simulate what the air will be like in Japan in like 100 years by going into this room. And it's not a nice atmosphere. It was filled with smoke and pollution. You're in like your oxygen mask. So it's basically making you think of what the consequences could be. That's the kind of wake up call. But you have to believe that that's actually going to happen. If you've done a good job in your paper, using your other appeals, hopefully they do see the possibility. Unpleasant or negative emotions work. They definitely do. Okay. You can't look away. This one's kind of a nice one. For Coldwell Banker. Now, they are using the emotional appeal in this, you know, the two lonely people find each other, or dog and person find each other and come home. But they're also, excuse me, Coldwell Banker's also borrowing the ethos of the pet adoption organization. So they're kind of combining the emotional appeal with the ethos appeal. They're like, look, we're such a good company. We help people find home, or we help pets find homes. So it's a little bit of ethos thrown in there to connect with their company and borrow sort of the reputation or the good vibe of a pet adoption company. So yeah, it goes straight for your emotions of these two people who need each other, these two lonely individuals. I'm gonna skip that one because it's, well, let's talk about this one. This is PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. They are against, they're for the rights of animals. Did anybody have to dissect anything in high school in your biology lab? I had to dissect a frog. Anybody else had to dissect something? What did you dissect? Anyone? Did it look like this? One would hope not. So basically they're trying to equate the person with the animal that's being dissected. Cats, frogs, rats, pigs, other animals are killed for dissection. Please choose not to dissect. I think this adds a bit harsh. Sometimes you can skate that line. And I think we talked about this last week between going a little bit over, and this one almost makes you want to turn away. You know, it's a little harsh. What do you guys think? Or do you think it's just effective? It's pretty gruesome. I think some ads can go too far. When you want to turn away from the ad, yeah, I can't watch those ads with the sad pets. No. I don't think they're effective because I can't watch them. Does that make sense? I mean, I think they're very effective on a certain group. So maybe they're, you know, but I love pets. We foster pets, you know, and I still can't watch those ads. So if your ads are unwatchable, I don't know. I'm just saying. So let's talk about some more fun types of emotional appeals. Let's look at the polar bears. He just needed a pop of color. So open happiness, that's their tagline for the commercial. So all they needed to do to fix their little snow sculpture was give him a Coke nose and a Coke bottle, and everything looks great. But it's like a pleasant thing, you know, they're evoking the nostalgia and the memories of building snow people and, you know, being with your family. Warm, fuzzy, happy feeling of togetherness and belonging. Putting a Coke in your hand. Okay. Comedy can also promote happiness. Let's see. This ad for Heineken.
Bedroom. And
So we have the guys getting as excited over the closet of beer as the girls are over the closet of fashion. So I don't know. It's lighthearted, right? Appeals to those emotions of happiness. No celebrities, right? They're not borrowing anybody else. They don't have any facts or figures. No ethos or logos. They are appealing to your happiness and the joy that beer gives you, right? How about this Pringles one?
And sour cream and onion. The spicy nacho stack.
How many Pringles flavor stack combinations are there?
318,000. Sadly, I'll never know the joy of tasting any, for I have no hands to stack with, no mouth to taste with, no soul to feel with. I am at the mercy of a cruel and uncaring.
Oh, play Funky Town.
Stack for everyone.
So now,
So again, they're using the humor, combining the Pringles stacks, flavors, you know, and he's like, all right, that's great. Moving on. So light, frivolous, dark turn goes back to humor. Okay. The song sets the outgoing tone, right? More joy, shared experience one. This is an Evian advertisement.
I'm the lyrical dancer. Big up the crew in the area. No, we don't die. We multiply. Anyone free, I got you know we go. I know I don't know. Let's get up and go. Here come the orchestra. I'm the lyrical gangster. Big up the crew in the area. Here come the orchestra. I'm the lyrical gangster.
So they're associating their brand with young people, I guess, or being young or feeling young, right? Who doesn't love dancing babies? They're having such a good time, all of the dancing babies. I love the dancing baby with the mustache. That's my favorite. Yeah. So they've communicated without any kind of facts or statistics or celebrity endorsements or joy and youthfulness that they want to attach to their brand. Okay. So it is pathos, the quality that evokes pity, sadness, joy, or another emotion, the emotional appeal. Okay. You're considering the big picture and you want to balance all of these appeals, right? So how do we use this in writing? Oh, Devin, you can't hear it? Okay. Sorry, I was not seeing the chat, so I'm going to respond to a couple of these. I will post the link to this page. So if you couldn't hear it very well, you want to go back and look at it, you can. Just a sec. Can you think of any ads that have appealed to emotions that you remember? Positive, negative, nostalgia. let's talk about issues. And most charity ads, yeah, because they are trying to help people, so they're going to show the plight that people are in to evoke emotion to get people to contribute. Yeah. What are the emotions connected with your issue? Give me your issue and tell me some emotions you think you can evoke in people. So here are some of the topics I can remember that you guys are working on. So the NCAA, athlete should be paid. What emotions can you use to appeal? Who can you make us feel for with regard to that issue? What negative emotions can you appeal to? Let's see, what else? Help me out, guys. It's Monday morning. My memory banks are empty. Tell me your
Determination for the NCAA.
determination.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like the athletes are determined to like perform at their peak, so they can like continue on their career into the professional leagues.
Yeah, so the more supported they are, the more chance there is that they can do their best. Right. The other thing I think you might use effectively is it just the owners and they look greedy and they look like they're taking advantage of young students, right? They are making billions of dollars off of these athletes and then giving them sort of a pittance in, a college education is not a pittance. I wouldn't want to say that, but they're certainly not giving them a fair percentage of what they earn, right? So you could appeal to our sense of justice, that it's not fair that these big greedy corporations and sport organizations make all the money and don't share, what they make off someone's name or reputation. I think that would appeal to a lot of people. Somebody else give me their topic and we can talk about what emotional appeals you might be able to use. A lot of these can involve stories related to people. Who can you tell stories about related to your topic? Who is doing equality in sports? Are they here? I think that's another one that fairness can really come into, in terms of everybody, wants to compete fairly and have an opportunity and not be looked down on for who they are, right? Or discriminated against. So telling us stories of discrimination and unfair treatment can, again, attract our sense of justice and wanting things to be fair, right? What else? What is your topic? Milos, what's your topic? Lily?
mine is factory farming. So I think like as far as stories, like I do talk about how factory farms affect the communities that they're around. So I can like give stories about I guess families that have had health issues or things like that.
Yes, that's very effective if they're threatening people's health and you tell stories related to that. That is definitely emotional appeal. And actually, an emotional appeal is a good way if you're searching for an introduction, guys. Starting with the story and then ending with the conclusion of that story can be that nice full circle way we've talked about of bringing everything together. And then you have a built-in intro and conclusion, and then you build your case with each of your main points. So yeah, that'll definitely help telling stories about people. Devin, you're going to talk about masks. Yeah, well, and then again, the emotional appeal they've been using is how other people are affected if people don't wear masks, if they wear them incorrectly, if they're opposed to them. Yeah, because there's some parts of the country where you'll be basically persecuted if you wear a mask and persecuted if you don't wear a mask and all of the things that can go along with that.
Like it's like the state of Texas, like they dropped their mask mandate, and like what are their pros and cons versus like say Illinois with like their percentages and all that stuff, like statistics versus like Illinois versus Texas where they have dropped the mask mandate, and then Illinois where they have it.
Yeah, same thing in Michigan. They're having big troubles. I think they overruled the governor's mask mandate and had it lifted, and now their hospitals are overwhelmed. So yeah. So
My topic is should NCAA player be paid?
okay, so I already got yours. Yeah. So yeah, the stories about the athletes and just appealing to our sense of fairness that paying for a college education is a very, 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 very tiny percentage of what the organizations make off of the student athletes. And who for many of them that's their only chance to earn major money. Most of them are not going to go on to play professional sports. So yeah, it's an interesting question. Grant, what was your topic? All right, we're coming down to the last minute here. If you want some help with thinking about how to use an Pathos Appeal or an Ethos Appeal for your paper, I'm going to open up another session here for anybody who wants to talk for the last 10 minutes of class. Remember to keep working on your draft for Thursday. Once you turn in the first drafts, we're going to schedule some conferences and keep working on your paper and looking at the examples in the chapter. They cover ethos, pathos, and logos in your argument chapter. All right, otherwise, I will see you tomorrow or in the next session. Everybody have a good Monday.